right, moving on to the peripheral nervous system from the module. In addition to the CNS, the central nervous system, again comprised of the brain and spinal cord, there's also a complex network of nerves that travel to every part of the body. This is called the peripheral nervous system, or the PNS, and it carries the signals necessary for the body to survive. Some of the signals carried by the PNS are related to voluntary actions. That is the somatic nervous system. If you want to type a message to a friend, for instance, you make conscious choices about which letters go in what order, and your brain sends the appropriate signals to your fingers to do the work. Other processes, by contrast, are not voluntary. That is your autonomic nervous system. Without your awareness, your brain is sending signals to your organs, your digestive system, and the muscles that are holding it up right now with instructions about what they should be doing. All of this occurs through the pathways of your peripheral nervous system. The somatic nervous system, the SNS, or the voluntary nervous system, is the part of the peripheral nervous system associated with the voluntary control of body movements via skeletal muscles. The somatic nervous system consists of afferent nerves, or sensory nerves, and efferent nerves, or motor nerves. Afferent neurons are sensory neurons that carry nerve impulses from sensory stimuli toward the central nervous system and brain, while efferent neurons are motor neurons that carry neural impulses away from the central nervous system and towards muscles to cause movement. That is voluntary movement. Moving on to the autonomic nervous system, the ANS. The ANS is primarily responsible for involuntary functions. It is further divided into the following systems, which work in tandem, work together to regulate our fight or flight response. First, we have the sympathetic nervous system, which prepares the body for the fight or flight response during any potential danger. Basically, we see danger, our body releases hormones, lets us know, hey, you need to fight to survive, or hey, you better get the heck out of Dodge. On the other hand, the parasympathetic nervous system inhibits the body from overworking and restores the body to a calm and composed state. The parasympathetic nervous system is active when we are relaxed. Right here, top, swimming, very relaxed. That is our parasympathetic nervous system, allowing us to relax. There's no immediate threat or danger. Second picture, fight or flight is likely activated. Someone running away from a bull. Third picture is a boxing match. In this picture, sympathetic portion of the autonomic nervous system is likely activated in both individuals as they prepare to fight. And lastly, fourth picture, remember we talked about the voluntary movement. If you're sending a text, this is the somatic portion of the nervous system because of the careful coordination of movements. Quickly, let's go over how we study the brain. Neuro Imaging. First picture, an EEG. EEG is used to measure the electrical activity of the brain through the placement of electrodes on the skull. We would use this maybe to see if a person is having seizures. Brain CT scans or CAT scan provide more detailed information about brain tissue and brain structures than standard x-rays of the head. They provide more data related to injuries and or diseases of the brain. During a brain CT, the x-ray beam moves in a circle around the body, allowing many different views of the brain. MRI can detect a variety of conditions of the brain, such as cysts, tumors, bleeding, swelling, developmental and structural abnormalities, infections, inflammatory conditions, or problems with the blood vessels. It can also help determine things like if a shunt is working, if it's not transporting blood to the brain, and detect damage to the brain caused by injury or stroke. PET scans detect an injected radioactive substance as it flows into specific regions of the brain while the subject performs a task such as adding numbers or reading. This helps identify the area of specific parts of the brain, since areas that are active will require more blood. More of the radioactive substance will be detected there. So that is used to determine blood flow. And fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging, can be used to help determine blood flow. So fMRI measures brain activity by detecting changes associated with the blood flow. This technique relies on the fact that cerebral blood flow and neuronal activation are coupled. When an area of the brain is in use, blood flow to that region also increases. Those are 4 ways we study the brain. This is the end of our brain and nervous system module.